Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Jenna Meyer, and I work in Pitt housing here at the University of Pittsburgh. And like I said before, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. This is our second Zoom session that we have scheduled for our incoming first year students along with their extended contacts. I'm going to have a short PowerPoint presentation here. And if somebody could just give me a thumbs up in the reactions, if you can see my screen whenever I start to share, that would be great. Otherwise, like I said, a short presentation, and then we will have time at the end for a Q&A. And if you have any in the meantime, just drop them into the chat and I will answer them with the group. So I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Okay. Can everyone see this PowerPoint? Amanda, can you see my PowerPoint?
Not yet.
Really?
Yes.
It says I'm sharing.
One second.
I'll close out and try again. Share screen. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Okay, so here we go. Just a brief overview of what we're going to be going over. As an incoming first year student, you would have received a welcome letter to your University of Pittsburgh email address that includes some important dates and deadlines as a first year student. We're going to have a small building overview. We'll go over some of the meal plan choices and what it means to choose a meal plan right now. And then we're going to go over some resources that are available to you as a Pitt student. And then we'll have time at the end for Q&A. Okay, so if you are a student on this Zoom session and you have already seen that, you may have already seen this. So this is a snapshot of the welcome letter that came to your University of Pittsburgh email address. And these are the 4 things that are pretty important as far as deadlines go as an incoming student. Your housing application deadline is included in that email that you would have gotten. And as of right now, everyone's deadline is May 1st. So you may have already completed your application. That's great. You may have not completed your application. You still have plenty of time to do that. But regardless, you want to make sure you're reading your email to see when your deadline is. Once we get a little bit closer to May 1st, some of our students may have a later deadline like May 8th or May 15th. So we really try to keep track of who's paid their deposit and who has completed their housing application. To go along with the housing app, once you complete the housing application, you'll get a confirmation email, and there's also a reminder in that email that says, don't forget to pre-submit your photo for your Panther ID. Your Panther ID is going to be your gateway to campus and all around Pittsburgh. So it's going to have your meal plan on it. It's going to have your access on it to get in and out of your building, in and out of your room. It'll get you on the bus to go around the city. And it's really just how we identify you as a student here and how we give you access to what you should have access to on campus. So you want to make sure that you pre-submit your photo so that you're able to pick that up during arrival, or we may mail it to you before arrival. And you want to pre-submit your photo by the deadline that your housing application is also due. So 2 other important dates, or deadlines, I should say, for a roommate request or an LLC, a living learning community request, is going to be June 1st. So you want to make sure your housing application is due and completed by May 1st, and then your preferences, which includes roommates and LLCs, are completed by June 1st. We only start going through our housing applications June 2nd to actually start assigning our students. And that's when we start going through our LLC applications and roommate preferences and things like that. So that is an important deadline as well. So This is a grid that you can actually find on our website. If you go to pc.pitt.edu and choose housing for a first year student, this grid is in that portion of the website. And these are all of our first year buildings that we offer first year housing in, and it includes the room types, if the rooms will have a private bath or a semi-private bath, if it's community bathrooms, where the laundry is, if it has air conditioning. I really try to point students in the direction of using our website and these resources to see what buildings might be the best for them as an accommodation on campus. So some questions that I like to ask our students before they apply or as they're doing their application is, are you someone who likes to live or wants to room by yourself? Do you want to have a roommate? If you want a roommate, do you want one roommate? Do you want multiple roommates? Are you interested in living in a community based on your major or an interest? Because these are all things that take a part in housing assignments. So if I'm a student who wants to live in a single, but I still want to live on a floor with other first year students, Lothrop or Tower C might be my best option. If I'm someone who wants to meet a lot of new people and wants a roommate and wants to try out the roommate experience, I might do a Towers accommodation or maybe Nordenberg or Sutherland. So and that's why we allow students to list up to 5 preferences, because it's never guaranteed that you're going to get your first preference, but we really try to give you an accommodation that meets your needs. So there might not be a possibility to get you into Tower A, but is Tower B a possibility, or is a Holland double a possibility? So those are all things that on our end we consider whenever we're doing our assignments. Meal plan options. So it might seem a little daunting to have to decide what you want your meal plan to be at this time. However, choosing your meal plan right now isn't the end all be all. You do have the opportunity to change your meal plan all the way up until add drop in the fall semester. So if you choose on your preferences right now, the unlimited plan, and then you come to campus and you realize that, hey, maybe I don't want to be here on the weekends. Maybe I want to go home. Maybe I want to travel, those kinds of things. And maybe the weekday unlimited is best suited for my schedule. So we do give you the opportunity to change your meal plan up until add drop. And one thing that I did want to go over with the meal plan, so there are basically 3 parts of the meal plan. You have swipes, which are like, if you're going to an all you care to eat facility, such as the Eatery or the Perch, you swipe once, you get in, you can spend as much time in there throughout the day as you want. You leave, you come back for lunch maybe, and then you come back for dinner. We have dining dollars, which are associated to that. So that's these numbers here, like that 300, that 150, those are used at places maybe like Starbucks or some of the quick zones on campus to get like a sandwich or some snacks. Dining dollars can be used, and also some of the other eatery places on campus. And then meal exchanges are actually swipes that can be converted into like a meal plan option. So if I want to go to Chick-fil-A and use one of my swipes that day, there's a meal that's available that equals 1 swipe. So that might be a sandwich, a fry, or fruit and a drink. And I don't have to use any of my dining dollars. I get 1 of those a day. I get a meal exchange per day. Okay, so for any of the students that are on this call, the portal should look pretty familiar to you. You should have, or maybe are waiting to go on to apply for your housing, but then I will take the time to actually go through the update your preferences portion of this so that you can actually see what that looks like. And that's the portion that is due June 1st. Okay. These are some of the resources that are available to you right now. We have our housing services website that I said a little bit earlier. You go to pc.pitt.edu, you choose housing, You choose first year student, and right there it kind of outlines what it looks like as a first year student to apply for housing, your deadlines, building options, all of the goods. Panther Central is also a really great resource. They're open 24/7. Feel free to email, chat, or call. They'll answer any of your questions, and anything that they're not able to answer, they will direct you to housing, and we'll answer that question for you. And then we will also have upcoming Zoom sessions every Tuesday from here until at least May 1st. So if there's something that you think maybe the greater population of somebody in a Zoom session would benefit from my question and you want to join, feel free to sign up for as many of these Zoom sessions as you want. The PowerPoint might get a little bit old, but regardless, the questions are sometimes different in each session. So feel free to do that. And I am going to open it up to Q&A, but before we do that, I am going to share my screen to show you the portal. So like I had said before, this is what the first year portal looks like, and you would click this button here to apply. And then once you apply once, you should never have to go back into your housing application. That's what we created this section for, because anything that you would need to update in your application is listed on this portal here, and it will automatically update your application. So, maybe your interest in 12-month housing has changed since you first completed, and you can always go back and change that. Maybe your LLC preference has changed. You can change that on here as well. You can update any of your building preferences. So maybe you met someone that you want a room with, and you originally had put all singles down as your building preferences, and now you want to update that to doubles. So you go in and you update that to Tower A, Tower B, Holland, and Nordenberg, so that you end up with your roommate in a space that's a double. Your roommate matching questions, maybe as a senior in high school, you don't stay up late, but in college maybe your schedule is looking a little bit different and you will want to stay up late. So you can always change that here. And this is actually, I'll update this. So if you find a roommate, or if you know someone that you want to room with, you have to create a roommate group in order to completely submit your roommate request. And in order to do that, you want to designate one student as the leader, and then you're going to need the PeopleSoft number of your friend that you want to live with. So you'll create a group, and you can see that I am the leader, and I'm going to invite my friend Holly to join my group. I found her, and now it says invited. So now Holly will get an email saying that she was invited to my group, and she now needs to complete her housing application. And whenever she logs into this page, it will say accept right here, and she'll just have to hit accept there, and then her status will change from invited to a member. So now I have a complete group because I have a leader and I have a member, and that's how we form our roommate groups. If by chance the two of us want to join a larger group, because we do have suites all the way up to 8 students on campus, I can always disband this group by removing her and then me leaving the group. And now maybe I have a new friend that wants to invite me into their group. So all that I would have to do then is go in and accept that invitation. So you can only be a part of one roommate group, and we do ask a question up here, which is assignment priority for students who may have a roommate group and an LLC preference, to ask them if you had to choose between one, if you were accepted in the LLC and we could not pull in your roommate, or like, would you want to be accepted in the LLC, or would you want to be released from the LLC to live with your roommate? So that's where you would actually prioritize what you would want. So maybe you would rather just want to live with your roommate, so they would release you from the LLC, and then you could go and live with your roommate. We do have times where the LLCs do have enough space to invite roommate requests in. So we sometimes find that assignment priority button or preference isn't needed because we are able to accommodate both preferences, the LLC and the roommate. I think at this time, that's basically everything on this portion of me sharing that I can cover. But whatever you change in here, all that you want to do at the bottom is click finish. And now your application has been updated, and you can do that as many times as you want between now and June 1st, as long as you have completed your housing application. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to open up the chat for Q&A. Okay, so if a roommate tests positive for COVID-19 during the academic year, what is the protocol in place to keep the students safe? So this is something that obviously we are living through right now, but we do offer isolation housing on campus. So we would most likely pull that roommate from the suite and put them into isolation housing. And then we look back into contact tracing to see if the roommates have been in contact with the student. Do they want isolation housing as well? To make sure that everybody is as safe as possible. Emma asked, can students living in suites choose suite mates in addition to roommates? So yes, basically our suites range in Sutherland from doubles all the way up to 8-person suites. So if you create a group of maybe 4 or 6, that would fill an entire 4 or 6-person suite. But I do want to let you know that if you by chance create a 4 or a 6-person group, you may end up in a 6 or 8-person suite with another group to fill the entire suite. So we can't guarantee that you will end up with within the same suite number as the number of roommates that you have, but we will try our best to make sure that you get at least all of your roommates, and then you may also have additional roommates to fill the entire suite. Do we receive access to this website once we pay $325 housing fee? So once you pay the $325 housing fee or housing deposit, you'll complete the housing application, and then you'll have access to the update preferences page. So you'll have to complete the housing app first, and then you can complete the update preferences page as many times as you need to between now and June 1st. Ethan asked, could you go over the purpose of dining dollars again? Yes, so I will actually go over dining dollars by comparing it to our other kind of university money called Panther funds. So Panther funds are something that can be used on campus and off campus. So and Panther funds can be used for things like buying books at the bookstore, laundry, food. You might be able to go to Target and spend Panther funds there. We have our certain partners that do accept Panther funds off of campus, and dining dollars are specifically to use on campus at our on-campus owned and operated facilities. So if you get a plan that has a lot of dining dollars, feel free to stop in at any of the spots on campus like Einstein's or Chick-fil-A or Taco Bell or Pizza Hut. You can use dining dollars there. Or also if you maybe are on a plan where you're maybe the weekday unlimited and you don't have meal swipes for over the weekend, so you can pay with dining dollars to get into the eatery that way as well. So they're just like a dollar-to-dollar fund that can be used on campus at our dining locations. Emma asked, if we are in the Honors LLC and want to live in Sutherland, should we choose Sutherland East or Sutherland West on the building preferences? If you get accepted into the Honors LLC, it won't matter what your building preference is. So because the LLC trumps your building preference. So it doesn't matter which one you put, and I won't disclose what you should put on because locations of LLCs can change based off of certain circumstances. So I don't want to tell you one thing and then maybe it could potentially change. So I would just put your top 3 building preferences and then apply for the LLC. And then if you get into the LLC, that's great. And then if you don't, then you have your building preferences as a backup as well. The question is, if we want to live in a suite and have found one person to room with, can we have the other roommates be random assignment? 100% yes. So this falls into that category of, maybe you are a group of two, but your building preferences list that it's Bruce, Sutherland, and maybe, well, those are really only the suite types that we offer for on campus, but maybe it's those buildings. We would put you in a suite based off of your preferences with your roommate with other students that could fill the suite as well. So it could be another group of two, it could be a group of two, and then maybe a single person that is looking to have roommates. But regardless, that's how we will do the assignments. The question is it possible for non-business majors to live in a suite in Bruce? So like I had said before, although Bruce is primarily the business LLC, sometimes they do have space in the building, and sometimes, or it could be a possibility that the LLC could be moved based off of something. So yes, it's always a possibility to live in a suite in Bruce, even if you're not a non-business major. I would just list that in your regular preferences, maybe as your first choice, but maybe choose a couple of other buildings as your second or third choice. Aiden asked, do we have to provide proof that we received the meningitis shot when we fill out the housing application? The only proof that you have to fill out is the form that says that you did or you did not get the meningitis vaccine. We don't ask for medical records or anything like that. It's just you saying yes or no, and then understanding the liability if you did not get the vaccine. So that's the only question that you have to answer on the application for that portion. Are there any other questions? Or Amanda, is there anything that you can think of that I did not go over?
Just providing everyone a link to Selection Central.
Okay, so I will get a link up into the chat. That is Selection Central. I did want to also say that within the next couple of weeks, if you've already completed your housing application, you will start to receive information about or from a third party that we like to use called RoomSync. And it is another opportunity for you to meet another student to create a roommate group with. So you would just need a Google account or a Facebook account to log in to use the app, and you fill out even more in-depth questions that are not included on our housing application for roommate matching. And then you can scroll through. I mean, I've never used it, but to my understanding, it matches you with other students based off of the questions that you answer. And you kind of just like swipe through like a regular like friend app at this point, like Bumble, and to see what roommates are possibilities for you. And then you can match with somebody and create a roommate group in your roommate in the application preferences page. So if I were any of these students in today's call, I would wait maybe a little bit longer so that more students have the opportunity to actually create a profile in RoomSync. So you will have more options for roommate options. But we do usually have a good bit of our first year students come in that use RoomSync and find a roommate, and it works out great. Okay, so if there are no other questions, I'm going to take the time to end the call here. This will be, it's been recorded and it will be saved and posted to our website. Please stay tuned and keep checking your Pitt emails for any updates that we have about the application or arrival. But regardless, we're so excited to have you as a part of the Pitt community, and we're looking forward to having you here in the fall. I hope you have a great day.